Hello and welcome to the 2025 Mastermind Grand Final with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Nancy Braithwaite, a teacher from East London. She'll be answering questions on the stage plays of the award-winning writer Sir Tom Stoppard. John Harden, a school administrator from Dorset, whose subject is Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay's 1953 ascent of Mount Everest. Ivan Milatovic, a solicitor from southwest London. His subject is the music of the British rock band Led Zeppelin. Dom Tate, a research director from Guildford. He'll be answering questions on penguins. Claire Reynolds, an actuary from Birmingham. Her subject is the celebrated German mathematician Emmy Noether. And John Robinson, a teacher from Sutton Coldfield. His subject is the Empire State Building. Our latest Mastermind adventure has one more round to go, the grand final. The deck of cards, first shuffled some months ago now, leaves 6 contenders on the cusp of glory. They've all played their hands very well, while others across the heats and semi-finals blinked in the glare of the spotlight, their poker faces not enough to win the day. So we shuffle the cards one last time for this series of television's toughest quiz, with the coveted prize up for grabs, the Mastermind Glass Bowl, along with the title of Mastermind Champion. 2 minutes on their special subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge are all that stands between our contenders and immortality. Let the games begin. Can I ask our first finalist to join us, please? Your name?
Nancy Braithwaite.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your specialist subject?
The stage plays of Sir Tom Stoppard.
Ever since I left university, I've lived in London and I've now finished up in Spitalfields. I live here with my partner, Steve. He's been amazingly supportive through this whole journey. He's a very strict quiz master.
So, Nancy Braithwaite, you have 2.5 minutes on general knowledge.
And he is incredibly supportive, even when I say, no, I'm really sorry, I've got to revise rather than go to the pub.
We've kind of bonded over quizzing. It's kind of become part of our routine over the years, so kind of look forward to Saturday morning so we can catch up on a bit of quizzing, which is probably a bit sad, but that's the way it is, and it's great.
When I was in the sixth form at school, I got to be in the school's general knowledge team. I was also the captain and the only girl in the team. We were regional champions the first year that I was in the team, and then we went one better the next year and became the national champions. So my final specialist subject in Mastermind is the stage plays of Tom Stoppard. Tom Stoppard is the first playwright that I guess I fell in love with. So getting to know the plays even better, it was a bit of a no-brainer for me.
So I'm here at the Old Vic Theatre to find out some more about Tom Stoppard and to see a production of the real thing.
Hi, Nancy. Great choice of subject, and here at the Old Vic is probably the perfect place to talk about Tom Stoppard because 57 years ago, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, his first major play, had its London premiere here. And then behind us is the set of their current revival of his 1982 play, The Real Thing.
So, Mark, I'd really love to hear your view about where Stoppard fits in. What's his ranking amongst playwrights?
Well, I think he's going to be regarded as one of the greatest playwrights that we've had. He's won more Tony Awards than anyone else, 5. There's a novel, there are radio plays, there are screenplays, of which the best known is Shakespeare in Love, for which he co-won an Oscar. And that is just a really astonishing achievement.
If I won Mastermind, I'd have so many people to thank who've helped me on my journey.
Correct.
But I think I'd dedicate it to myself for all the work I've put in, for who I was when I started on that journey. This one's for me.
The stage plays of Sir Tom Stoppard in 2 minutes. Let's go. In The Real Thing, the successful playwright Henry is invited to appear on what BBC radio programme?
Desert island discs.
Yes, according to Guildenstern in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. The colours red, blue and green are real, but which other colour is a mystical experience shared by everybody?
Yellow.
Yes, in Arcadia, the tortoise, which in the present day is called lightning, has what other name in the 19th century scenes when he's sometimes used as a paperweight?
Plautus.
Yes, in the 1997 play The Invention of Love, the poet A.E. Housman claims to have introduced what dessert to Trinity College, Cambridge?
Creme brulee.
Yes, in The Hard Problem, what's the affectionate name that Jerry, the founder of the Crowell Institute, uses when speaking to his daughter Kathy?
Pumpkin.
No, lollipop. During a lunch party towards the end of Rock and Roll, Lenka, a Czech exile living in Cambridge, claims that what four-word phrase was more important than workers of the world unite?
Freedom, love and charity.
No, Make Love Not War. In Voyage, the first play in the Coast of Utopia trilogy, Alexander Herzen has a circle of friends comprising three men who share what first name?
Nicholas.
Yes, the plot of Stoppard's 2020 play Leopoldstadt features in part the theft by Nazis of a portrait that depicts the character Gretel Merz, painted by which artist?
Gustav Klimt.
Yes, in The Real Inspector Hound, the character Moon complains to his fellow theatre critic Bird Boot that he's only ever had a single word from one of his reviews quoted on a theatrical poster. What word was it?
Unforgettable.
Yes, in Stoppard's 1988 espionage play Hapgood, the title character's son Joe attends what prep school?
St Christopher's.
Yes, in Travesties, a scene between Henry and Gwendolyn Carr, James Joyce and Tristan Zara is played out using what poetic form and includes the line, Mr. Zara writes poetry and sculpts with quite unexpected results.
Limericks.
Yes, in Salvage, the book written by Alexander Herzen, which has finally been published in a Russian language edition, has the English title From the Other What?
Sure.
It is Sure. Nancy, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 10 points. And our next finalist, please. Your name?
John Harden.
Your occupation?
I'm a school administrator.
And your specialist subject?
The 1953 ascent of Mount Everest. I live in Sherburn in Dorset. I work as a school administrator at Sherburn School, which is a wonderful, wonderful place to work. I've got a family of 4 children. I've got a daughter who lives 50 miles away, but my 3 sons all live close by.
Well, you did very well in your heat, Dad, anyway. It was incredible.
Well, I was fortunate. I got the lucky general knowledge questions, which always helps. I think one of the reasons I determined to appear on Mastermind was Caroline, my wife, got so bored of me shouting at the television that she turned to me one day and said, "Why don't you try to do better?" I was due to appear on Mastermind last year, but sadly Caroline was taken very seriously ill and subsequently died. So I had to pull out then. When Mastermind were kind enough to invite me back on this year, I leapt at the opportunity, not least because I could hear Caroline's voice goading me on to have a go, and I'm very glad I did appear. For my specialist subject in the final, I've chosen the successful summiting of Mount Everest in 1953 by Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay. One of the reasons that Everest fascinates me is a former pupil of our school, Peter Oliver, who was on both the 1936 and 1938 expeditions to Everest.
Amazingly, we have the actual ice axe he used in 1938
Oh,
in his
heavy.
attempt. He was killed in action in Burma in 1945, so sadly he never knew that Everest was actually summited. But you probably know more about the 1953 Everest attempt than I do.
Well, I'm hoping to know a little bit about it. I'm very lucky today to be able to have a chat with Peter Hillary, Sir Edmund's son, who's all the way down in New Zealand. Thanks so much for meeting me today.
Well, look, it's a pleasure, and I'm delighted that you are covering the 1953 Everest expedition as your topic.
Peter, I'm sure your dad had some wonderful stories.
I always remember him telling us that he and Tenzing were finding the snow and ice conditions pretty unstable. And I was amazed to hear my father wondering whether they should go on. And then he said that that little voice we all have spoke up in the back of his mind, and it just said, "Ed, my boy, this is Everest. Sometimes you got to be prepared to push harder and go further." And of course, that's what they did.
In the unlikely event of me actually winning Mastermind, I would have no hesitation in dedicating the win to my wonderful wife, Caroline.
You got this, Dad. This is yours.
Nail it.
The 1953 ascent of Mount Everest in 2 minutes. Here we go. In September 1952, the British Army Colonel John Hunt was named as the leader of the Everest expedition, controversially replacing which celebrated mountaineer in the role?
Eric Shipton.
Yes, in early 1953, the team tested its high-altitude equipment in a decompression chamber at the RAF Institute of Aviation Medicine, based at which airfield?
Stoke Mandeville?
No, Farnborough. What position on the team was held by the Sherpa Tondup, who fulfilled the same role on several expeditions before and after 1953?
He was a cook.
Yes. During preparations for the expedition, Edmund Hillary was placed in charge of supplies of bedding and cooking equipment, and also reportedly offered to provide what foodstuff produced by his family's business in New Zealand?
Honey.
Yes. What was the name of the tea planter's wife who, as honorary secretary of the Himalayan Club, persuaded Sherpa Tenzing to join the expedition?
Jill Henderson.
Yes, on the 12th of February 1953, some members of the expedition left for India from Tilbury aboard which ship?
The Stratheden.
Yes. What was the name of the flour made from roasted and ground barley that formed much of the Sherpa's diet during the expedition?
Atashi.
No, Sampa. The expedition set up an early base camp at what Buddhist monastery in a scenic valley on the route to Everest?
Tanboshe.
Yes. What's the name of the icefall, particularly treacherous sections of which were given nicknames such as the Ghastly Crevasse, the Atom Bomb Area and Hellfire Alley?
Kumbu.
Yes, to avoid a leak to other newspapers, the Times journalist James Morris, later Jan Morris, sent what cryptic three-word message back to London to confirm that Everest had been climbed?
Snow conditions bad.
Yes, what item of clothing given to him by the Swiss mountaineer Raymond Lambert did Tenzing wear to the summit of Everest?
A scarf.
Yes, it was agreed that Hunt would be informed if Everest had been conquered by means of a visual signal made by arranging what items of equipment into a T shape on the snow?
Sleeping bag.
Yes, as soon as news of Tenzing's achievement reached India, a fundraising plan, I've started so I'll finish. As soon as news of Tenzing's achievement reached India, a fundraising plan to build him a new house was organised by which Kolkata newspaper?
The Times.
No, it was the Statesman. John, at the end of that round, you've got no passes. You've got 10 points.
Thank you.
And our next finalist, please. Your name?
Ivan Milatovic.
Your occupation?
Solicitor.
And your specialist subject?
The music of Led Zeppelin.
I live in southwest London, and I've lived in London for 36 years now. I came to this country from what was Yugoslavia, what is now Serbia. I live with my wife, Ruxi. We've been married for 18 years, and with our two daughters, Alma, who's 14, and Dora, who's 12.
Ivan is a great quizzer because he's got a great memory, so he's very good at retaining facts, and he likes reading and keeping himself informed, and therefore that goes very well with quizzes.
I have lots of passions and interests, so I'm a tennis umpire, umpired at Wimbledon, I've run 10 marathons, I speak 6 languages, and I'm learning to play the clarinet. At school, I remember once in Belgrade, the teacher asked me a very basic geography question, and I didn't know it. And the teacher really made an example of me in front of the whole class. Really, that fueled my thirst for knowing stuff.
Ciao, Branka. Ciao, Simo. Dobar dan.
I'm very proud of you. And what I can say, I wish you all the luck. Easy question. And my message would be, have fun.
Mwah. Ciao, bye.
For my specialist subject in the final, I chose the music of Led Zeppelin. As part of my research, I am going to Olympic Studios in Barnes, which is currently a cinema, but used to be a music recording studio where Led Zeppelin recorded their first album.
Welcome to Olympic Studios.
So, Bob, what was your highlight of your involvement with Led Zeppelin?
Well, I was around when Led Zeppelin came in here to record their first album in '69. I was playing their music right from almost day one. They were a powerhouse. The band comprised 4 individuals who were probably, each of them, the best at what they were doing. You've got John Bonham on drums, John Paul Jones on bass, Jimmy Page, who was pushing out the boundaries completely, you know, and in Robert Plant, the greatest vocalist ever, in my opinion. Well, Ivan, I've got a very, very special message to play you.
Hi, Ivan. This is Robert Plant tuning in, wishing you all the very best in your grand final of Mastermind and your specialist subject, which I can't remember too much about. I'm sure probably you know more about it than I do. Good luck, and I hope you come away with that beautiful all. I'll be watching you. Take care.
Yeah, so all the very best.
Thanks, Bob. And thank you, Robert.
The music of Led Zeppelin in 2 minutes. Here we go. Which song is the opening track on Led Zeppelin's debut album and begins with the line, "In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man"?
Good times, bad times.
Yes, in the song Ramble On, Robert Plant sings that he met a girl so fair in the darkest depths of which land from The Lord of the Rings?
Mordor.
Yes, the Telecaster guitar, with which Jimmy Page played the solo on Stairway to Heaven, became known by what nickname because of the artwork inspired by a legendary creature that he painted on it?
The Dragon?
Yes, the Rain Song was written in response to a remark by which musician who reportedly said to John Bonham, "The problem with you guys is that you never do ballads."
George Harrison.
Yes, a question printed beneath the lyrics of the song Jamaica on the inner sleeve of the 1973 album Houses of the Holy asks, whatever happened to which American doo-wop band?
Rosie and the Originals.
Yes, Plant has said that the lyrics of Immigrant Song were inspired by the band's trip to play a gig in which country in June 1970?
Iceland.
Yes, what was the name of the Stockholm studio, founded by members of ABBA, where the band recorded their 8th studio album, In Through the Outdoor?
Polar.
Yes, the mother of the American singer Richie Valens was credited as a composer on the track Boogie with Stew, because it was an improvised reworking of which song by her son?
Ooh, My Head.
Yes, after being threatened with a lawsuit by Countess Eva von Zeppelin, the band performed a concert in Copenhagen in 1970 under what name, which was the surname of their European tour promoter?
The Knobs.
Yes, the band's final show before Bonham's death was at which venue in West Berlin on the 7th of July 1980?
Eissporthalle.
Yes, what's the name of the design collective that created the cover art for every Led Zeppelin studio album from Houses of the Holy onwards, apart from physical graffiti?
Hypnosis.
Yes, which instrumental track was released as a single in Italy in late 1970 with Gallows Pole as its B-side?
St. Tristan's Sword?
No, Moby Dick, on later reissued versions of the band's first album. I've started, so I'll finish. On later reissued versions of the band's first album, which American folk singer is credited as a writer on the track Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You?
Anne Breeden.
It is Anne Breeden. Ivan, you had no passes. You've got 12 points. And our next finalist, please. Your name?
Dom Tate.
Your occupation?
Research Director.
And your specialist subject?
Penguins.
Outside of work and quizzing, I like to play football. I'm a goalkeeper in a six-a-side team. One of my earliest quiz experiences was doing University Challenge. I then moved on and have done things like Only Connect.
So what's the production of you? You should know this, shouldn't you?
Where my team actually managed to win a series, which we were really pleased with. So I suppose the natural progression is to do the other Monday quiz, which is Mastermind.
What general term expresses a...
One of my biggest supporters has been my wife, either through helping me with questions or doing things while I was doing the questions.
Efficiency. I would describe Dom as someone who's funny, is fun, competitive, and has a slight obsessive element to him. If he's into something, he really is into something.
For my specialist subject for the final, I've chosen penguins. My interest in penguins probably comes from a deep interest in the natural world in general. Penguins are just one of the stars of the zoo.
Recently, he even got me a penguin-themed anniversary card and cocktail shaker.
So far, I've only been reading about penguins in books, so it's high time I met one in the flesh. So I'm off to meet an expert and find out exactly how penguins tick.
So we have two species of penguin. We've got our lovely Humboldt penguins, and we have the ones here, which are our African penguins. It's a lovely large colony. They're a much more anxious, highly strung penguin.
Obviously, the African penguins are a long way from home. How do they cope with the miserable English weather?
These individuals that we've got in our colony are all captive bred and captive raised, so they haven't experienced the African sun. Maybe that helps. There is a lot of pressure on this particular species. They are endangered in the wild, but so much research, so much good conservation that's going on. And so, would you like to help me feed them?
I would love to.
OK, let's go then. Down, penguins! You're doing this one.
Yeah.
So you can feed Denise 30, 40 of these.
Oh, right.
No
okay,
problem
yeah,
at all. Good luck in the final.
Thank you.
Dom, I've got a message for you here.
Thank you.
Hello, Dom. Congratulations on reaching the final and for picking the most perfect of subjects. As it happens, I'm on my way this week to film Galapagos penguins, who were brought to those amazing islands by a very special current. I have no doubt you know the name of that current. The very best of luck. The penguins and I will be rooting for you.
That's really nice.
If I were to win Mastermind, I'd be incredibly delighted. I'm not particularly expressive as a person, so I won't be running around the studio with my top in the air, but I will be so pleased to receive the bowl into my house.
Penguins in 2 minutes. Let's go. Which penguin species, the largest living species on average, undertakes a so-called march across the Antarctic sea ice each year in order to breed?
Emperor.
Yes, what name, after a type of unmotorized vehicle, is given to a means of movement employed by some penguins in which they slide across the ice on their stomachs?
Tobogganing.
Yes, the yellow-eyed penguin, native to New Zealand, is also known by what Maori name, which translates as noise shouter?
Hoi-ho.
Yes, what two-word nickname was given by sailors to the chicks of the king penguin, likening their fluffy brown coats to the appearance of young seamen, covered in the tarred fibres used to seal wooden ships?
Oakham boys.
Yes, the crested penguins, known for their unusual practice of laying 2 eggs of substantially different sizes, belong to what genus?
Eudyptes.
Yes. What's the name of the peninsula in Argentina, sometimes referred to as Penguinopolis? That's home to the world's largest colony of Magellanic penguins. Yes. What two-word term refers to the annual process whereby penguins shed their entire coat of feathers at once, allowing a complete coat to grow in its place?
Catastrophic molt.
Yes, in the Falkland Islands, southern rockhopper penguins are often seen sharing nesting sites with what species of albatross?
Salvins?
No, black-browed albatross. The extinct penguin species, Echidiptes salasi, characterized by its very long spear-like beak, was identified by the American paleontologist Julia Clark, based on fossils found in which country?
Peru?
Yes. What adjective, meaning extremely happy, denotes a courtship display performed by some male penguins in which they typically point their beaks to the sky and cry loudly?
Ecstatic.
Yes. Which penguin species has the scientific name Pygoscelis papua, resulting from a mistaken belief that it had been sighted in New Guinea?
Gentoo.
Yes. What special glands above a penguin's eyes, also known as salt glands, allow it to expel unwanted salt accumulated while swimming in the sea?
Supraorbital.
Yes. The chin-strap penguin is known by several alternative names, including what name that refers to its harsh staccato call?
Stonecracker.
It is stonecracker penguin. Dom, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 12 points.
Thank you.
And our next finalist, please. Your name?
Claire Reynolds.
Your occupation?
Actuary.
And your specialist subject?
Emmy Noether. Since I was a child, I've always enjoyed watching quizzes on TV. As far back as I can remember, I remember watching Mastermind. Dad's Army. Going into the heat, I got a score that I was really pleased with. I thought I was really proud of how I'd done, and I came second.
In first place with 25 points, it's Nancy.
Nancy was the winner, and I remember saying to her that I hope she went on to win the whole thing, so I might have to dial back on that statement now.
And Claire, you didn't win your heat last time around, but as the highest scoring runner-up, you're back.
When I got the call to say that I would be going into the semi-final, I was really pleased. It was very exciting, but also a bit nerve-wracking again.
In first place with 25 points, it's Claire, which means she goes through to the grand final. Congratulations to her.
Supporting me throughout my time on Mastermind have been my mum and my auntie Jill.
Me and Claire loved quizzing together. After school, she'd run up from school, would sit down with the TV on and just quiz.
We'll often have a chat after a Monday saying, oh, did you see this and what did you think of this? My specialist subject for the final is Emmy Noether, who is a mathematician from the turn of the century. I did a degree in maths, and actuarial work is very mathematical, so it felt like a good fit, really. Emmy Noether isn't that well known, so I've come to Birmingham University to find out a bit more.
So Emmy was really one of the most important mathematicians and physicists of the 20th century. Einstein turned to her for advice when he wanted to understand energy in his famous theories of relativity, and she also founded whole new branches of mathematics. Emmy really revolutionized physics, but at that time it wasn't easy for female scientists at the beginning of the 20th century, and it took Emmy quite a while to find a position as professor. It wasn't until later in her life, when she moved to the US, that she became better known.
Can you tell me a little bit about the work that she is best known for?
Emmy Noether really taught us about the relationship between symmetries and conservation laws. This is a really important result in physics, really as important as Pythagoras' theorem 2,000 years ago.
The thought of actually winning the final would be incredible. Obviously, I came in through getting a second chance, and not everybody gets that opportunity, so I just want to make the most of having that second chance.
Take that and have a look.
Ah.
Hi Claire, it's Rachel Riley here. Now, first of all, I want to say a huge congratulations for getting to the final. One of the most notable female mathematicians of all time. I hope you do yourself proud. I hope you do Emmy's legacy proud. Wishing you the very best of luck.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, it's really nice, isn't it?
Just want to say good luck, Claire. We want you to win it, but we'll still have a big party, whatever happens.
Emmy Noether, the renowned German mathematician. In 2 minutes, here we go. At which German university did Emmy Noether attain the qualification known as habilitation in 1919, enabling her to pursue an academic career?
Göttingen.
Yes, amid objections to the habilitation of a woman, which mathematician championed Noether, reportedly remarking that we are a university, not a bathing establishment.
Hilbert.
Yes, Noether's doctoral thesis, which she later described as dung, was written under the supervision of which professor at the University of Erlangen?
Paul Gauguin.
Yes, a noted theorem is named jointly after Noether and which chess champion whose mathematical work she expanded upon in a 1921 paper?
Lasker.
Yes, in 1932, Noether and her colleague Emil Artin were jointly awarded what prestigious German mathematical award?
Ackermann-Tübner.
Yes. What name, after a lifeguard who worked there, was given to the swimming pool at the University of Göttingen, where Noether frequently held mathematical discussions, despite the pool officially being for men only?
Klee?
Yes. Together with Øystein Ore and Robert Fricker, Noether edited the complete works of which earlier German mathematician?
Dedekind.
Yes. After being expelled from her position by the Nazi authorities in 1933, Noether fled Germany and took up a post at which college in Pennsylvania?
Bryn Mawr.
Yes. Noetherian rings named after Noether are algebraic structures with a property known as the ACC. What does ACC stand for in this context?
Ascending chain condition.
Yes. At Bryn Mawr, Noether mentored a group of so-called Noether girls, including which Austrian mathematician who'd befriended her while spending a year at Göttingen?
Olgatowski.
Yes, following Noether's death in 1935, which close friend, the head of mathematics at Bryn Mawr, delivered a eulogy?
Herman Vale.
No, Annapel Wheeler. Which newspaper published an obituary of Noether by Albert Einstein, in which he described her as a creative mathematical genius?
New York Times.
Yes, Noether introduced the results, now known as Noether's first and second theorems, in a 1918 paper known in English as Invariant Variation What?
Problems.
It was Problems. Claire, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 12 points.
Thank you.
And now, our final contender, please. Your name?
John Robinson.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your specialist subject?
The Empire State Building.
I work as an English teacher in a secondary school in Birmingham, which I love because I get to share my knowledge and inspire the next generation.
The best thing about Mr. Robinson, I have to say, is he's always supportive and he's there for you.
He's very passionate about his subject. He's always trying to get us engaged into his lessons.
We're incredibly proud of John, and all the hard work he's put into Mastermind this year, and we've got that space waiting for you, John, for that glass bowl and our trophy cabinet.
John is going home with £500,000.
Been lucky enough to be on a few different quiz shows before. Pinnacle is probably winning £500,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so I decided it's probably time to go for something that money can't buy, which is trying to win that Mastermind glass bowl. I picked the Empire State Building as my specialist subject, which is such an iconic building and has appeared in numerous films and TV programmes. I've been lucky enough to actually visit it twice myself and was intrigued to want to find out even more about the history and architecture of such an amazing building. So when people think of New York, I guess one of the first things they think of is the Empire State Building. What is it that you think makes it so iconic?
It's really, I think, the skyline of New York. And there is this Empire State Building standing as this solitary silhouette, this kind of heroic symbol of the city. And it did that for nearly a century now.
What kind of challenges did the builders face when they were first building it in the 1930s?
The timing was so bad because it was just at the beginning of the Depression that the building, though finished in 1931 and ready for tenants, remained empty, nearly 2/3, until after World War II and the recovery.
What is it that has made it such a pop culture icon?
Right, well, in movies, everything from King Kong to rom-coms. It's a romantic building. The way it looks against the sky, that's the way people like to remember the Empire State Building.
It's been brilliant chatting with you, Carol. Thank you so much for this.
Good luck.
I play in a quiz team in the Derbyshire Quiz League, and our captain of that team is David Edwards.
The mastermind of 1990, David Edwards.
I was the winner of the Mastermind final back in 1990 when I was very young.
I'll be gentle with it. Very impressive piece of glassware, isn't it? I should probably give it back before I do any damage to it. I constantly tell the students I teach that if you put effort into the revision, then you'll get the rewards at the end of it. So hopefully the kids can then look at me and be inspired by the hard work that I've put in as well.
I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Robinson. I hope you do well on Mastermind.
Good luck, Mr. Robinson. Hope you smash it.
The Empire State Building in 2 minutes. Here we go. In August 1929, the former governor of New York, Al Smith, announced the construction of an office building on the site of which luxury hotel?
Waldorf Astoria.
Yes, what was the surname of the brothers Paul and William, who together with Andrew Eakin were awarded the contract for the building's construction?
Starrett.
Yes, each of the many gangs of riveters involved in the building's construction comprised a team of 4 workers known informally as the Heater, the Catcher, the Bucker-Up and the What?
Gunman?
Yes. The lobby's ceiling mural, decorated with stars and sunbursts of gold leaf, was designed by which company?
Leaf Neandros?
No, Rambush Studios. In 1929, Smith announced the construction of an airship mooring mast on the roof, which took the building's official height to how many feet above pavement level?
1,250.
Yes, what relation was Smith to the 2 people he chose to cut the ribbon at the building's 5th Avenue entrance at the opening ceremony on the 1st of May 1931?
Grandad.
Yes, in 1954, which Chicago-based industrialist paid $49.5 million to become the sole owner of the building and sold it 7 years later for $65 million?
Henry Crown.
Yes, when the pilot, William F. Smith, accidentally crashed into the building in July 1945, he was flying what type of medium bomber plane?
B-25 Mitchell.
Yes, on the 10th of August 2004, the lights on top of the building were dimmed in honour of which actress who died 2 days earlier?
Fay Wray.
Yes, what was the title of the 1930s radio series, broadcast 6 days a week, in which visitors to the observation deck were asked their impressions of New York?
Microphone in the Sky?
Yes, in the late 1970s, the top of the Empire State Building was bathed in blue and white light to celebrate the World Series win of which baseball team?
The New York Yankees?
Yes. What collective name was given to the 4 large beacons installed at the foot of the building's television tower in 1956, which illuminated the night sky?
Freedom Lights.
Yes. Which photojournalist was hired to record images of workers constructing the building in perilous conditions, sometimes photographing them from a basket suspended high above Fifth Avenue?
Lewis Hine.
It was Lewis Hine. And John, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 12 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round in this grand final, the scores are very high indeed. In joint 5th place with 10 points each, Nancy Braithwaite and John Harden. And in joint 1st place with 12 points each, Ivan Milatovic, Dom Tate, Claire Reynolds and John Robinson. It's half-time. In the grand final, a chance to take a breath and calm the nerves. The outcome is still far from certain. Nothing is guaranteed as we go into the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the Mastermind champion. And if they're tied on passes as well, then it's a tie-break to determine the winner. So let's ask Nancy to join us again, please. Nancy, you start with 10 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. In a term for the activity of making or repairing things, especially in the home, the letters DIY stand for what 3 words?
Do it yourself.
Yes, the meerkat, a carnivorous mammal similar to a mongoose, is native to which continent?
South America?
No, Africa. In the 19th century, the British surgeon Joseph Lister pioneered the prevention of infections in wounds by using what acid as an antiseptic during operations?
Hydrochloric.
No, carbolic. Michael Henchard is the title character of which novel by Thomas Hardy?
The Mayor of Casterbridge.
Yes, which Labour politician was appointed as the UK's Deputy Prime Minister after the general election in July 2024?
Angela Rayner.
Yes, which northeastern US state has the official nickname the Garden State?
New Hampshire.
No, New Jersey. The art installation entitled Another Place, comprising 100 life-size cast-iron figures facing out to sea on Crosby Beach near Liverpool, is the work of which British artist?
Anthony Gormley.
Yes, in the Gregorian calendar, there are how many days in the month of September?
30.
Yes, in 2024, the comedian and actor Jason Manford joined the cast of what long-running school-based television drama series, playing the new head teacher, Steve Savage?
Waterloo Road.
Yes, what herb is an essential ingredient of a traditional Lincolnshire sausage?
Dill.
No, Sage, an annual music festival inaugurated in 1876 and held in the German city of Bayreuth, is dedicated to the operatic works of which composer?
Wagner.
Yes, what name, partly derived from a Greek word meaning relating to birds, is given to the scientific study of birds?
Ornithology.
Yes, in a church or cathedral built in the shape of a cross, what name is usually given to either of the 2 wings that sit at right angles to the nave?
Apse.
No, the transept. Which American actress and pop singer won an Olivier Award in 2024 for her role as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard?
Nicole Scherzinger.
Yes, Scherzinger. Tritium is an isotope of which chemical element?
Iron.
No, hydrogen. In 2023, which Olympic gold medal winning gymnast married the American football player Jonathan Owens?
Simone Biles.
Yes, the fabric mohair is obtained from the coat of a breed of what animal?
Goat.
Yes. What 1948 film directed by Alfred Hitchcock and starring James Stewart is about 2 men who commit what they consider to be the perfect murder?
Rope.
Yes. What's the reptilian-sounding name of the peninsula in Cornwall that has at its tip the southernmost point of mainland Britain?
The Lizard.
Yes. What term from Latin words for sun and standing still refers to the 2 days each year with the most or least sunlight when the sun reaches its furthest angular distance from the celestial equator?
It's completely gone. I can't remember. Sorry, pass.
It's solstice. So, Nancy, at the end of that round, you've got 23 points. Next up, it's John Harden. John, you start with 10 points. The score to beat as it stands is 23 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. What domestic pet is popularly said to have 9 lives?
Cats.
Yes, the national flags of Ghana, Vietnam and Cuba all feature what symbol?
Star.
Yes. In October 2024, which former Conservative cabinet member succeeded Fraser Nelson as the editor of the weekly magazine The Spectator?
Philip Hammond.
No, Michael Gove. An alternative name for the vitamin niacin is the letter B, followed by which single-digit number?
2.
No, 3. In 1769, what London-based art institution began holding its annual summer exhibition, for which anyone may submit work to be considered for inclusion?
Royal Academy.
Yes, which British band had their 10th UK #1 album when Moon Music topped the chart in 2024?
Coldplay.
Yes, the British military decoration, the George Cross, is made from what metal?
Silver.
Yes, the name of what Tex-Mex dish, comprising a tortilla filled with spiced beef or chicken, chopped vegetables and grated cheese, is often translated as little strips?
Burrito?
No, fajitas. For his work on the structure of proteins, the British computer scientist Demis Hassabis was a co-recipient of the 2024 Nobel Prize in which discipline?
Medicine.
No, chemistry. In the 2018 film Mary Poppins Returns, which British actress plays the title character?
Blunt.
Yes, Emily Blunt. In the name of the translation of the Bible, sometimes known as the Authorized Version, the letters KJ in the abbreviation KJV stand for what?
King James.
Yes, in the narrative poem The Divine Comedy, Dante is guided through hell and purgatory by which Roman poet?
Beatrice?
No, Virgil. A veterinary surgeon named Bryn Pirathapan was the winner of the 2024 series of what long-running television cookery competition?
MasterChef.
Yes, which Portuguese footballer left Manchester United in November 2022 before joining the Saudi club Al Nassr shortly afterwards?
Ronaldo.
Yes, the jazz musicians Thelonious Monk, Bud Powell and Count Basie were best known for playing what instrument?
Piano.
Yes, which city in northern England has the telephone area code 0114?
Newcastle.
No, Sheffield. What name from Greek words for stomach and foot is given to a class of mollusks that includes slugs and snails?
Gastropods.
Gastropod. John, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 21 points.
Thank you.
Let's have Ivan again, please. Ivan, you start with 12 points. The score to beat as it stands is 23 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. The word times, as in 2 times 5 equals 10, refers to which of the 4 basic arithmetical operations?
Multiplication.
Yes. What type of sailing boat, similar to a catamaran, is named for the fact that it has 3 hulls?
Schooner.
No, trimaran. In the abbreviation CGT, referring to a tax levied on profits obtained from selling an asset for more than was originally paid for it, the letters CG stand for what 2 words?
Capital gains.
Yes, the funerals of Winston Churchill in 1965 and Margaret Thatcher in 2013 were both held at which London cathedral?
St. Paul's.
Yes, the blue-green colour of the planet Uranus results from the absorption of red light by what hydrocarbon gas in its atmosphere?
Nitrogen.
No, methane. The best-selling 2023 book, The Woman in Me, is a memoir by which chart-topping American singer?
Madonna?
No, Britney Spears. The Iraqi capital city of Baghdad stands on the banks of which river?
Euphrates.
No, Tigris. What maternal-sounding name is usually given to the main printed circuit board in an electrical appliance such as a computer?
Motherboard.
Yes, the British athlete Keely Hodgkinson won a gold medal at the 2024 Paris Olympics in an event over what distance?
800 meters.
Yes, which US president, who was the 7th holder of the office and served in the role in the 19th century, was nicknamed Old Hickory?
Jackson?
Yes. What Spanish word for sauce is also the name of a style of Latin American dance and music?
Salsa.
Yes, on account of the fabric used to make their gowns, barristers who become kings or queens' counsels are said to take what?
Silk.
Yes. What's the title of the television sitcom first shown in 2021 that stars Greg Davis as Wiki, whose job is to remove the mess left at crime scenes?
No idea.
I take that as a pass. What's the name of the National Trust property in Knutsford in Cheshire, which held its first RHS flower show in 1999?
Wisley.
No, Tatton Park. Which play by Shakespeare features the characters Malvolio, Sir Toby Belch and Sir Andrew Aguecheek?
Merry Wives of Windsor.
No, Twelfth Night. What name is used in physics for the length of time it takes for 50% of the atoms in a radioactive substance to decay?
Second?
No, Half-Life. Which British actor and comedian plays Laurel opposite John C. Reilly as Hardy in the 2018 film Stan and Ollie about the two entertainers' last tour together?
Steve Coogan?
Yes. Which overture by Tchaikovsky incorporates the French national anthem La Marseillaise and that of the Russian Empire, God Save the Tsar?
1812?
It is the 1812 overture. Ivan, you had one pass. The title of the television sitcom that stars Greg Davis as Wiki is The Cleaner. And at the end of that round, Ivan, you've got 22 points.
Thank you.
Next up is Dom. Dom, you start with 12 points. The score to beat as it stands is 23 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. In a common expression, someone who has the wrong idea about how to achieve something is said to be barking up the wrong what?
Tree.
Yes, what name derived from Greek words for arrangement and skin is given to the art of stuffing and mounting dead animals to create lifelike replicas for display?
Taxidermy.
Yes, Narita International Airport serves which Asian capital city?
Tokyo.
Yes, the so-called 4 C's, the criteria used by experts to assess the quality of a diamond, are clarity, cut, carat weight, and what else?
Crystal.
No, colour. Consumption was an old name for what lung disease?
TB.
Yes, in the poem The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear, the two title characters are married by which bird who lives on the hill?
Turkey?
Yes, which Norwegian singer who has the surname Rober but is known professionally by just her first name had UK hit albums entitled Sucker Punch in 2019 and How to Let Go in 2022?
Sigrid?
Yes. In horse racing, the American Triple Crown consists of the Preakness Stakes, the Belmont Stakes, and which other events?
Kentucky Derby?
Yes. What French word for breeches is a name given to wide, knee-length trousers that are cut to resemble a skirt?
Blouse.
No, culottes. Which politician served 4 separate terms as UK Prime Minister between 1868 and 1894?
Gladstone.
Yes, the actresses America Ferrera, Jennifer Ellison and Claire Sweeney have all starred in West End stage productions of the musical Chicago, playing which character?
Falmer.
No, Roxy Hart. Inchmurrin, Inchloaneg and Inchcallioch are islands in which Scottish loch?
Lomond.
Yes. What 2009 novel by David Nichols was adapted as a 2024 television series starring Ambika Mod and Leo Woodall in the lead roles of Emma and Dexter?
One Day.
Yes, which symphony orchestra, named after its founder and based in Manchester, performed its first concert at the city's Free Trade Hall in 1858?
Halle.
Yes, the altarpiece, known as the Wilton Diptych, painted by an unknown artist in the late 14th century, depicts which English king being presented to the Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus?
Henry II?
No, Richard II. What family relative is the child of one's aunt or uncle?
Nephew?
No, cousin. A tercentenary celebration is normally held how many years after the event being commemorated?
300.
Yes, in the American Civil War, which general achieved victories for the Union at the battles of Shiloh, Vicksburg and Chattanooga?
Lee.
No, Grant. In solid geometry, each of the four faces of a rectangular tetrahedron is what two-dimensional shape?
Triangle.
Yes, in 2024, the former head of the National Portrait Gallery. I've started, so I'll finish. In 2024, the former head of the National Portrait Gallery, Nicholas Cullinan, was appointed as the new director of which other London visitor attraction?
Tate Modern.
No, it was the British Museum. So, Dom, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 25 points.
Thank you.
Next up, it's Claire. Claire, you start with 12 points. The score to beat as it stands is 25 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. According to a famous line in a song from a 1959 musical by Rodgers and Hammerstein, the hills are alive with the sound of what?
Music.
Yes, the London Underground line opened in 1906 as the Baker Street and Waterloo Railway later became known by what contraction of that name?
Bakerloo.
Yes, which city is the capital of Estonia?
Tallinn.
Yes, what name is given to a line on a weather chart that connects places with equal atmospheric pressures at sea level?
Isobar.
Yes, in men's cricket, in 2024, which English team won the county championship title for the third season in a row?
Somerset.
No, sorry. In Greek mythology, what many-headed monster, whose name translates literally as water snake, was the offspring of Typhon and Echidna?
Hydra.
Yes, in 2023, the economist Rain Newton-Smith was appointed as the Director General of what organisation that represents businesses in the UK?
ABI.
No, the CBI. In what patriotic song, often performed at the last night of the proms, are the words of the title followed by Mother of the Free, how shall we extol thee, who are born of thee?
Land of Hope and Glory.
Yes, the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is made up of thousands of hexagonal columns of what igneous rock?
Basalt.
Yes, what fruit with brown hairy skin, green flesh and black seeds is sometimes known as a Chinese gooseberry?
Kiwi.
Yes, in the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs, what's the first name of the young woman who marries Tarzan?
Jane.
Yes, what name is given to the major Roman road that ran from Dover to London, then northwest to Wroxeter via St Albans?
Watling Street.
Yes, Whoopi Goldberg won a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her performance as a fraudulent psychic named Oda Mae Brown in what 1990 film about a supernatural romance?
Ghost.
Yes, during the Second World War, Prince Philip, later the Duke of Edinburgh and husband of Queen Elizabeth II, served in which of the British Armed Forces?
Royal Navy.
Yes, the television sitcom roles of which actress include the conventional Margot in The Good Life and the snobbish Audrey in To the Manor Born?
Penelope Keith.
Yes, the flower of what plant is one of the so-called 8 auspicious symbols of Buddhism?
Lotus.
Yes, when the British Protectorate of Northern Rhodesia gained independence in 1964, it became known by what new name?
Zambia.
Yes, what term derived from an Old English word for autumn refers to the process and period of gathering in mature crops?
Harvest.
Yes, in geometry, doubling the length of each side of a square increases its area by how many times?
4.
Yes, the only two native British deer species are the red deer and which other that is much smaller, very widespread, and has the scientific name Capreolus capreolus?
Fallow.
No, the roe deer. Claire, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 29 points.
Thank you.
And finally, let's have John Robinson again, please. John, you start with 12 points. The score to beat to become the 2025 Mastermind champion is Claire's 29 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. What adjective from the Latin for two-tongued is used to describe someone who speaks 2 languages?
Bilingual.
Yes. The Strait of Gibraltar connects the Mediterranean Sea to which ocean?
The Atlantic.
Yes. Count Fosco is a villainous character in which 1860 novel by Wilkie Collins?
Woman in White.
Yes, after his death in a plane crash in 1968, which Soviet cosmonaut had his remains laid to rest in the walls of the Kremlin?
Gagarin.
Yes, which Gilbert and Sullivan comic opera set in a Cornish fishing village is subtitled The Witch's Curse?
Pirates, Penzance.
No, Rudigore. In June 2024, which ANC politician was sworn in to serve a second term as president of South Africa?
Ramaphosa.
Yes, what name from the French fort to sleep is given to a window set vertically into a sloping roof?
Dormer.
Yes, which British actress was nominated for an Oscar for her role in the 2022 film To Leslie as an impoverished young mother who has squandered the money from a substantial lottery win?
Andrea Riseborough.
Yes, in October 2024, for the first time in 60 years, a British team contested the final of what sailing trophy but lost to the holders New Zealand?
America's Cup.
Yes, what phenomenon travels through a vacuum at a speed of around 186,000 miles per second?
Speed of sound.
No, light. Which American singer's numerous UK hit singles include Look What You Made Me Do, You Need to Calm Down, and Bad Blood, a collaboration with Kendrick Lamar?
Taylor Swift.
Yes, from 1513 until 1972, which European country was ruled by an alternating sequence of kings named Christian and Frederick?
Sweden.
No, Denmark. The stage play subtitled The First Shadow, which opened in the West End in December 2023, is a prequel to what American television series?
Strange Things.
Yes, what word meaning friendly is also the name of a concentrated sweet fruit-based soft drink intended to be diluted with water?
Cordial.
Yes, which island off the south coast of England was known to the Romans as Vectis?
Isle of Wight.
Yes. What was the papal name and number of Albino Luciani, who served as pontiff for a little over a month before his death in 1978?
John Paul I.
Yes. Which letter is the sixth of the Greek alphabet and, when written in uppercase, resembles an uppercase English letter Z?
Zeta.
Yes, the English battles of Northampton, Towton and Edgecote were fought in the mid-15th century as part of what series of civil wars?
Wars of the Roses.
Yes, what word for a monarch is also the name of a British gold coin with a nominal value of £1?
Sovereign.
Yes, which German philosopher born in 1844 described the concept of Übermensch, an ideal superior man of the future?
Nietzsche.
Yes, in philately, what name for a specially designed envelope bearing new stamps postmarked? I've started, so I'll finish. Envelope bearing new stamps postmarked with the date they were issued is often abbreviated to the letters FDC.
First day cover.
It is. First day cover. John, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've done it. You've got 30 points. You are the Mastermind champion.
Thank you very much.
Let's have a look at the final scores. In 6th place with 21 points, it's John Harden. In 5th place with 22 points, Ivan Milatovic. In 4th place with 23 points, it's Nancy Braithwaite. In 3rd place with 25 points, Dom Tate. In 2nd place with 29 points, it's Claire Reynolds, which means in 1st place with 30 points, it's John Robinson. So he's the 2025 Mastermind champion and takes home the coveted glass bowl. Many, many congratulations. An amazing achievement. You won £500,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Money can't buy that.
It certainly can't. A lot more pressure in this chair as well compared to that chair.
A lot more pressure indeed. Well done. To each and every one of our contenders throughout the series and our 6 grand finalists, a hearty thank you. Your courage has been immense in braving the black chair. And if you think you could become a Mastermind champion like John, or if you just want to test your knowledge, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time when we begin the journey to find a new champion. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I cannot quite believe that I have just won the final of Mastermind. I'm not often lost for words, but I think this is one of those occasions. Don't know what to say, just delighted.